Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome to Sons of Liberty 1773. This is indeed where men and women from around the world gather in defense of liberty. I'm your host, Bill Bailey, who will be channeling the patriotism of America's founding fathers. Tucker Carlson has just been on fire lately, and I want you to listen to this.
So before the war in Ukraine even began, both Tory and Nuland at the State Department, the number two at the State Department, and Joe Biden threatened to blow up the Nord Stream pipeline. Watch.
I want to be clear with you today. If Russia invades Ukraine, one way or another, Nord Stream 2 will not move forward.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine. Again, then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will. I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
So then the pipelines actually blew up. These are the pipelines that bring natural gas from Eastern Europe to Western Europe to keep the European economy going. And they exploded, causing the single largest human-caused environmental disaster in all of history. And again, setting Europe on the road to actual poverty. So it was an unpopular event, and Joe Biden denied any responsibility. In fact, he blamed Russia. Joe Biden and his whole administration told us that somehow Russia, for reasons they never made clear, just because they're evil, had sabotaged their own energy pipeline. Watch this.
It was a deliberate act of sabotage, and now the Russians are pumping out disinformation and lies.
So that was in September, and it was obvious from the very first day, well, that's not true. It's not that Vladimir Putin is too good a person to blow up Nord Stream, but, why would he? It only hurts him. And by the way, it really hurts Western Europe. But a lot of media outlets repeated that lie dutifully. That's what they do, and attacked us as Putin stooges for having questions about it. Well, we know a lot more now. There have been a number of official investigations of what happened, and not one has found any evidence of Russian involvement. And now we have the actual answer to what happened. Oh, the Biden administration did it. For real. Investigative reporter Seymour Hersh, who's been around for more than 50 years, just wrote a piece on Substack that includes this, quote, last June, the Navy divers, U.S. Navy divers, operating under the cover of a widely publicized midsummer NATO exercise known as Baltops 22, planted remotely triggered explosives that 3 months later destroyed 3 of the 4 Nord Stream pipelines, according to a source with direct knowledge of the operational planning. Now, this piece continues. It's probably the most comprehensive news story you will read this year. Seymour Hersh on Substack, you should read it. And it recounts in detail meetings with the National Security Advisor at the White House, where this was planned, exactly what explosives were used, how they were triggered, by what aircraft, on what day. So many details in here that it is not possible that it's not true. It is true. And in fact, no one in the high level of the U.S. government is denying it with any specificity, and said the White House is just dismissing it as utterly false, and no reporters are following up on this.
Unbelievable. Made no sense to me. Why would Russia blow up their own pipeline? I mean, they can just shut the spigot off. I said that right after it happened. But it looks like, 99.9% America has become a terrorist country. I mean, it's like an act of terrorism that we did this. And Russia's got to be fuming mad that we blew up their billion-dollar pipeline, but we're starving Europe of energy. There's no winners in this. Biden is a creep. See him look smug there? You know how smug? I mean, the guy's lips are moving. He's lying. So we'll see what happens, but I expect retaliation from Russia. I don't know what it's going to be. Cyber attack, cut our ocean cables, something. There's going to be retribution. We'd do it to them if it was reversed, and we'd be right to do so. Tit for tat. Karma's coming, folks. Really sad state. I mean, our country is disgraceful right now on the world stage. Within 2 years, right? Just what a difference an election makes. So let me share this with you. This is the White House's response. White House rushes to deny report of U.S. Nord Stream sabotage after Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist exposes the truth. And I'm going to trust the journalist, and I'm going to trust Tucker Carlson before I ever trust this criminal, lying administration, this evil regime that's got the levers of power of this country. They're leading us into World War III, and it's kind of out of our hands. There ain't a lot we can do about it, except we're in for the ride, folks. So Russian parliament speaker on Nord Stream attack. Joe Biden is a terrorist who must be brought to justice. You know what? Russia, you got a lot of Americans over here that agree with you, unfortunately. But here's the story I really wanted to get to, folks. Countdown to Z-Day. Russia massing 1,800 tanks, 700 aircraft, and 500,000 men. I've heard anywhere from 300,000 to 500,000 soldiers for new Ukraine assault in just 10 days after Zelensky begs UK for jets. They turned them down so far. Russia has hundreds of thousands of soldiers, thousands of tanks, and hundreds of warplanes preparing for a new assault. Ukraine is warned. Vladimir Putin is believed to be preparing for a massive new offensive in the coming weeks to coincide with the first anniversary of the war on February 24th. Ukraine has been monitoring the military buildup. They continue to plead for Western support, including during Vladimir Zelensky's visit yesterday to London. Zelensky hailed the UK for its support, but warned it may not be enough and called for modern fighter planes. The new assault is feared to be much bigger than the first wave, which stormed across the country toward Kyiv almost exactly 1 year ago. Russia is believed to be massing 1,800 tanks, 3,950 armored vehicles, 400 fighter jets, and 300 helicopters for the attack, according to a Ukrainian official. They added Putin is also gathering 2,700 artillery guns and 810 rocket launchers for a new wave of attacks, reports Foreign Policy. It's much bigger than what took place in the first wave, the official said. They are not paying attention to any casualties or losses. In the next 10 days, we expect a new huge invasion. Ukrainian intelligence has put the figure for the spring offensive at between 300,000 and 500,000 Russian soldiers. It's going to be a bloodbath, folks. And if you want to know, anybody that says Ukraine is winning the war, this is a Ukrainian city. They've been shelling the hell out of Ukraine with artillery, softening them up for the new wave that's coming. I see no way that Putin isn't now just going to march across Ukraine, unless, folks, NATO and Biden all of a sudden say, hey, we're sending you fighter jets. We don't have time to train your pilots, so, we'll send our fighter pilots, NATO's fighter pilots with the jets, and they'll be sending boots on the ground. It's that, or they're going to capitulate and call it, say, hey, Zelensky, we helped you out as much as we could. Looks like you got to throw up the white flag and make a peace deal. One way or another. Let me know which way you think it's going to go in the comments. I think I know which way it's going. I think these evil globalists are marching us into World War III. It's already started, and, it's probably going to go nuclear at some point, sadly. So, a couple other stick with me just a minute, folks. It's going to be a short video. Ukraine officials warn that Russia could initiate this massive attack within weeks, even hours, as the calendar ticks toward the first anniversary of the invasion on February 24th. German politicians and military chiefs suggest return to conscription. They want to start drafting in Germany again. Communist China prepares for war by passing new draft law effective March 1st this year, just a couple weeks away. According to reserve military service law, those 18 years of older are obligated to enlist after a national defense mobilization is announced. Anyone who is 18 years or older in China is obligated to enlist after a national defense mobilization is announced. After receiving the call-up notice, reservists must report to the designated place of specified in time in accordance with the requirements. So it goes down. It says, now you understand, I agree with this, more about the Chinese spy balloon. Females, too, are going to be drafted, except during pregnancy, maternity leave, and breastfeeding. The shortest serving time is 4 years. Ordinary soldiers can apply for discharge after reaching the age of 30. Officers need to serve until 45 to 60, depending on their ranks. So that's that. And then a little quick blurb from the corpulent warlord. North Korea announces efforts to increase its preparedness for war. 2 days ago, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un ordered his military to better prepare for war. And it seems like they're doing that in lockstep with China. It's not good, folks. I think China is up to something. Maybe a first strike on us with a EMP. You know, they can lose 200 million fighting age men. Think about that. The thing over there is they had this one child policy. Everybody wants a firstborn son. It's their culture. So there's like infanticide. If they'd have a baby, they would, get rid of it and try to have another one until they had a boy. So they have a disproportionate allotment of men, fighting age men. I doubt we would ever go to, a battle like that. It would go nuclear. It'd go nuclear really quick. So we need to keep our eyes on this Ukraine war. I've just got a feeling it's going to get really bad really quick. It's going to go one way or the other. Pray for peace. Pray for peacemakers, but there's no peacemakers in the Biden regime or in NATO that I have seen. Keep praying, my friends. Keep praying and keep prepping. Stack it to the rafters. Our world is sailing into a dark and ominous storm, and we're in for the ride. So we can't stop what's coming. We can just prepare for it. That's all we can do. Please say a prayer for the people in Syria and Turkey. I seen I'm a dog lover. I seen this dog, buried to its neck and bloody. Building crumbled on it, and they dug it out and got it out, and it looks like it's going to be fine, but it's just and fathers, you can see where they were buried, trying to protect their children. It's just such a tragedy, and our prayers go out for them, and pray that those that are still alive and buried in the rubble, that they're found, and that those that are injured heal, and that God helps. I mean, it's going to be terrible wounds for a long time, emotional wounds, that God helps heal their suffering. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please always give these videos a thumbs up. Like, just do it out of habit. When you start watching, that pushes the algorithm out. If there's 100 views and we can get 80 thumbs up, that will be enough to 80%. To push the algorithm out for YouTube, so a larger audience sees these videos. Comment down below. I want to read your comments. Let me know what you think is happening. What do you think Russia is going to give some payback for us blowing up their pipeline, for us meddling in Ukraine, for us sending weapons of war in, long-range missiles, which are soon going to be used to target Russian cities? I think Russia's been pretty patient with the West, to be honest. So let me know what you think, how Putin will respond. If you even think America blew up the pipeline, I do. And then let me know what you think is going to happen with this Ukraine war, with this new Russian offensive. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I don't know. I think it's just going to get worse. I think all roads lead to World War III and probably nuclear world war. Didn't even touch on the economy stuff, which is horrible. I mean, we're heading into the greatest depression. So may God bless you, and may God bless your family and keep you safe. I will see you in the next video, my friends. That's it.